Hey YouTube, it's Tech Savvy Solution, and I'm here with an unboxing of the Xperia SP, which is, in my opinion, the best smartphone that you can get for your money. So the reason why I'm doing this type of unboxing is just because I think, it's back to school and kids want cell phones and people are going back to college and stuff, and you really want a cell phone that can give you everything that you need while still staying at a pretty reasonable price point. So in this case, we have the Xperia SP, which is considered a mid-range phone, but it has a lot of features of other quad-core phones and really high-end Android phones that would cost you a lot of money. But this is in a cheaper package. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with the unboxing. Alright, so the opening is actually in the back of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. And it opens up like so. So everything is quite compact. You have the phone over here, which we will visit a little later on. Put that off to the side. And then here we have a USB cable. And on the right side we have all this documentation, as well as the manuals and such. And then on the lower flap, we have the AC adapter. It's pretty simple. And then, a USB cord, the USB cable just plugs into there and you plug it into the outlet. And then last but not least, we have a pair of cheap headphones. So yeah, that is everything that is in the box. So let's go ahead and take out the phone so you can see what it's all about. Alright, so I really like how they have, it's kind of like a free screen protector. I'm gonna end up cutting off this red flag and keeping this on. The phone actually has Gorilla Glass, so it's definitely scratch resistant, so you don't have to worry about tossing it around as much. Not tossing it around, but getting it scratched from your keys and stuff. It's quite protected, and I mean, we have this really nice unibody design. Actually has a removable battery cover, so I guess it's not completely unibody, but it's really quite compact. I got it in red, and it's a fantastic color. Shows up a little pinkish on the display on your screen, but in person, I'm seeing this as a really deep red, so it's quite nice. So the back finish is just, it's kind of a matte texture, so it's fingerprint resistant. It's quite nice. And then, of course, in the newer line of Xperia phones, we have the volume toggle and this power button right in the center of the side here, as well as a camera shortcut button, which not many phones have these days, but this one does. Sony does a good job of including that in their phones. And then on the top, we have their standard 3.5mm headphone jack, so your standard earbuds and headphones will work. And then we have a micro USB for charging. Let me go to the other side, and there's nothing on the bottom. What is on the bottom though, on here, is this, you can see it's if I wave my hand around, it's actually transparent, translucent, and what it is it's actually serves as a notification light. So I'll go ahead and power on the phone and show you a little bit of that. Alright, so the phone is turned on, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean by using this transparent strip on the bottom to be your notification light. So we're going to go ahead and go to settings, and then hit display, and then scroll all the way down to light effects. And from here you can see that we have so many options for different notifications, for unread SMS, missed call. These are all the colors that you can choose from for your notification light. And the notification light is just this entire strip on the bottom just lights up. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to choose, how about, let's keep it at purple. And then I set an alarm that's supposed to ring in about a minute or so. So we can go ahead and wait for that, and you can see the cool lighting effects. Another cool thing that you can do is glove mode. So during the wintertime, if you can't unlock your phone with your gloves on a standard smartphone, this one actually has a mode where you can. Anyways, here's the alarm. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but the LED notification light is quite bright. It's nice. The speaker is nice and loud. So there's that. Alright, another awesome thing that I like about this phone is that it has a removable battery cover, and thus you have options for expanding your storage via micro SD card. And this is something that, like, well, I've been using the Nexus 4 for a while. It's about the same price point, but I was like, I'm running out of storage on this thing. Whereas here, then you can see you have a slot for your micro SD card as well as your micro SIM card. Oh, sorry, micro SD card here, micro SIM card here. And then you have a non-removable battery, which is kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it's quite a large battery for a mid-range phone. Light usage will get you 2 days, which is pretty darn good for a smartphone. My Nexus 4 only lasts me about maybe a day and a half. Kind of difficult to snap this back on. And with moderate usage, easily a day and a half on this phone. So I think it's, you know, being a student and having a smartphone, it's really important that your phone lasts you throughout the day. I mean, at night when you're walking alone on campus and stuff, that's when, you know, stuff happens and you want to make sure that you have access to a phone for emergency calls and such like that. So this phone will definitely get you through. You know, if you're late partying at night and stuff, your phone will still be alive. Hopefully you will be too. But yeah, it's definitely a reliable thing. Another thing is that this phone actually still has front-facing camera, back-facing camera for video chatting. And I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. And it's quite nice. We have this dedicated camera button. Then go ahead and pop this. And it takes you straight to your camera. And then, granted, right now it's in low light, so it's kind of, you know, you can see like a little bit of lag. But if we go ahead and maybe turn on the lights. The lights are on and all of a sudden a squirrel appears. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of it. And you can tap to focus like this. And then you can either use the button on screen or the button on top, camera shortcut button, to go ahead and take the photo. You can also zoom in and out with the volume rocker. It's really cool if you don't feel like doing that on your touchscreen. It's useful in the wintertime if you're wearing gloves and such. So you can go ahead and hold halfway to focus, snap the shot. So what this camera did was essentially take the shot in what Sony calls the superior auto mode, which is the setting up here. So the phone and the camera will actually try to detect what setting you're trying to take the picture in. So, you know, if you're outside, it's going to adjust settings accordingly and be like, oh, you're trying to take an outdoors photo, so we're gonna, you know, tweak some things here and there. I'm inside, so we're gonna take this type of photo, low light photo, etc., etc. So it really serves your needs in that way. You also have a bunch of other settings that you have access to here. Not gonna go over all of them, but they're there. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the photo that we just took. So you can pinch to zoom to take a look at the detail. If I can get this camera glare out of the way, you can see that the color representation is quite nice, the details are fine. I really don't have too much complaints over it. I think maybe the Nexus 4's camera is slightly better, but it's actually quite nice. And we can go ahead and go back and forth between pictures. I took a lot of pictures of the squirrel, and it's quite smooth. We go back to the camera with the back button. Alright, so another cool feature I want to go over is the Walkman application, which is only available on Sony phones. And it's like a really cool default music app. So first of all, you'll notice that the notification bar will start like lighting up to the music. So I'm going to go ahead and play you a little bit of this. So you can see that this like starts pulsing to the music. You can always turn it off if you want to, but it's a pretty cool like effect if you want to show your friends and stuff. You have a better view if you turn it to the side, and then you can also have visualizations too. pretty cool. And then of course You can slide here if you want to play a different song. And then as you change songs, the background and the theme of the notification light also changes. So here we have a blue one. I think it might be in accordance to what's on the album art, but I'm pretty sure you can customize this as well. So yeah, that's like a pretty quick look at that application. Alright, another thing that I want to show you on this phone is called small apps. So we're going to hit the multitasking button here, and then you can see there are small apps on the bottom. And you can hit this, which is the calculator, and it essentially is an application that displays over your main screen. So you can be at home, you could be in the browser, and you could be text messaging, and just have this calculator handy, and it's fully functional too. I mean, it turns translucent when you don't need it, and you tap it, you can go ahead and do like 5 plus 6 is 11, and you can close it when you don't need it. Other applications include timer, a note, which I find this is particularly useful if you're browsing the web and you see something that you like. Oh, I'm gonna like write a quick note, and you don't have to, you know, open up a separate application. It's true multitasking because you have two things running at the same time. And then, last but not least, you have a recorder. Now, you don't just have these options. You have other things that you can download from the Play Store. You have other applications, other small apps that you can download from there. And, I mean, you scroll down the list and it's quite a lot. So you can go ahead and check that out. It's pretty awesome. So I'm sure that they're going to develop even more in the future because Sony has a lot of phones that use this feature. So that's small. Alright, so I want to do a quick comparison with these phones. This is the Xperia SP and this is the Nexus 4, and they're both at about the same price point. You have the Nexus 4 being around $299 off the Play Store for 8 gigs, and this has 8 gigs of internal storage for just a little bit over that, like 326 is what I bought it for, with the exception that this can be expanded up to 32 gigs through micro SD card, which this cannot. But the fact that they have similar price points begs the comparison. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you the physical features of both of these phones. They're almost about the same size if you look at it this way. Line them up. Almost the same thickness as well. The Xperia SP might be slightly thicker by a millimeter, perhaps half a millimeter, and then the width of it slightly skinnier than the Nexus 4. The Nexus 4 has this tapered edge, whereas the Xperia SP has more rectangular, symmetrical shape. Not that this doesn't, but it's more of a box. It's more of a rectangle. I think it's quite a nice style for the Xperia SP. And then on the back, of course, we have the Xperia SP's matte finish, and then this glossy glass panel of the Nexus 4, and then the camera is iconic of the Xperia phones, and in here we have something a little more understated. And then, of course, on the Nexus we have this glittery pattern, which some might not really like, some might totally love, but the Xperia SP is quite plain. And then on the side, everything is kind of reversed in a way, because we have the volume rocker on this side for the Nexus, whereas it's on the other side for the Xperia SP. And also the power lock button has been moved downwards for the Xperia SP, so it's easier on the hand to go like this, so you don't have to reach like that and be like, oh, I need to unlock my phone. It's much better than the location on the iPhone where you need to go like this and it's kind of awkward. But anyways, this is just like the physical rundown of both of the phones. I'm going to go ahead and show you the software of both of the phones, but more specifically just run a quadrant standard test, which you should know isn't indicative of day-to-day performance at all, but just for benchmark's sake, I want to show you that these two devices can achieve similar scores if not better scores on the Xperia SP. So I'm gonna go ahead and say okay and hit this also. Okay, and let's run the benchmark at the same time, not that it matters, but go. And we have Adreno 320 graphics on this one, on the Xperia SP, and that's actually the same chip that they use for the Xperia Z, which is the flagship of this batch. And notice the white difference between the two phones. This one tends to have a warmer tint than the Nexus 4, but I actually like the Nexus 4's white balance better than this one. But in the Sony phone. So as we can see on the Xperia SP, we have a quadrant standard score of 7,921, and on the Nexus 4, it has 4,877. So again, it's not indicative of how it performs day to day, but even day to day, both phones run pretty smoothly. So I just want to point that out, that don't just undermine a dual-core phone, because it can compete against this. Also to note that the Nexus 4 is on the latest firmware, whereas this is still on, I think, 4.2. I want to go ahead and give a quick confirmation of that. About phone 4.1.2. So, I mean, the Nexus 4 should have the advantage, but then again, benchmarks aren't everything. Alright, so that concludes my video unboxing and review of the Xperia SP. Hope you guys consider this as a potential phone for the school year and beyond, I guess. It's a very awesome mid-range phone, and don't take mid-range as like a derogatory term. I say mid-range because it's actually quite affordable, and you get a lot for your money. So there you have it. It's the Xperia SP, and I hope you enjoyed this video review. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I do appreciate your feedback. So yeah, I hope to see you guys next time on the next video review or tutorial.